That's what we want, Morisset. Hi there, welcome to Gosford and also welcome to Gosford Railway Station. Now this morning our destination is up to Cessnock, and from Cessnock we're going to go over to Maitland and have a look around. And to get there we're going to catch this train here, and this train left Sydney Central at 10 minutes to 6 this morning, and it's a regular Opal service, and its destination is up to Newcastle Interchange, and we're going to catch it as far as Morisset. And then once we get to Morisset we're going to catch a local bus, an Opal service out to Cessnock. And once we get to Cessnock we'll have a look around Cessnock, and then we're going to catch another Opal service bus through to Maitland. And we're going to have a look around Maitland, and then from Maitland we're going to catch a train down to Hamilton and change in Hamilton for another train which is headed towards Sydney Central. So I hope you'll stay with us for the day.
If you're going to Waihi or Awara, move to the rear 6 cars at Wyong.
Okay, here we are at Morisset bus stop, and the bus we want leaves from stand C, which is just down here. Well, here it is, stand C, Cessnock, bus 163, and it leaves at, there's 2 services a day, one at 8:20 in the morning and one at 6:23 in the afternoon, or 18:23 in the afternoon Saturday, and pretty much the same on Sunday. Or they leave a bit later on Saturday at 9:20. Only 2 services a day from Morisset to Cessnock via Kurri Kurri. Now we've got about 20 minutes before the bus leaves, so what we'll do, we'll take a quick walk down into Morisset just over here. Now that looks like the old station master's house. Now Cessnock and Kurri Kurri are sort of in the middle of Morisset, Newcastle and Maitland. Now if you come to Morisset, as I explained before, there's only 2 bus services a day from Morisset to Kurri Kurri and Cessnock. Now if you go up to Newcastle you can catch a bus from Newcastle Interchange to Kurri Kurri and Cessnock. Now there's 4 services a day which leave from Newcastle Interchange to go to Cessnock. But if you go a bit further up, right up into Maitland, there's an hourly service from Maitland out to Kurri Kurri and Cessnock. It appears that Cessnock, Kurri Kurri and Maitland are interconnecting suburbs, so they have a more frequent bus service. Now if you're coming up from Sydney, the quickest way to do it is from Sydney to Morisset, which will take you an hour and a half or something like that, and then a bit over an hour and a half, and then from Morisset out to Cessnock will take you another hour on the bus, so that's 2.5 hours. But if you go through to Newcastle, that'll be 2.5 hours on the train and then another hour on the bus. And then if you go through to Maitland was a bit over 3 hours on the train. It's because you got to go through to Newcastle Interchange or Hamilton, change at Hamilton, and go up to catch another train to Maitland, and then you got to catch a bus from Maitland out to Cessnock. So it's a much longer trip if you go via Maitland. But what we're doing today, Chris and I come through here to Morisset. Now, if we were to miss this bus from Morisset, we'll just get the next train through to Newcastle and we'd have a look there, see what bus is leaving there. And if we couldn't get a bus from Newcastle, we would go through to Maitland and get a bus from the Maitland to Cessnock. We'd get there eventually. Hello. Cessnock, thanks, mate. Well, here's the main bus stop here in Kurri Kurri. Now the bus doesn't go through town, it just does a U-turn and heads towards Cessnock. Cessnock is about 12 kilometres from Kurri Kurri. This is Alba Main. There's the old private railway line which ran between Maitland and Cessnock. And here we are in Cessnock. See ya. Thanks, mate. See ya. Well, welcome to Cessnock. Now, it always amazes me how long the main street of Cessnock is. It must be about 2 kilometres long, all full of shops. Now, of course, a lot of these shops are now closed. Somebody had the idea of building a mall. So they built a mall here, and now everybody goes shopping in air-conditioned comfort. And in the winter time, there's no problem of rain. But it certainly is a classic old street. I could just imagine what it would be like back in the 50s and the 60s. It'd be full of people running the errands and standing on the sidewalk talking. Now, there's quite a few op shops along here. So if you like op shopping, perfect place to come, Cessnock. The Bakery Cafe. Now that looks like the sort of place Ah, yes, perfect. We'll make a visit in there. Oh, this is a real old-fashioned cake shop. Look at that. Apple pies, custard tarts, vanilla slices with pink icing, apple turnovers, chocolate eclairs. Now we're having the coffee and cake special. This looks pretty good. Now all that for $10. Now that's got to be the deal of the century, hasn't it? It's so big, the coffee's so big and the cake is so big that we're just sharing. Just like when we were teenagers. Well, cheers. Sort of like a cheesecake. Very nice. Now here we are in the centre of Cessnock, and just down there's a large shopping mall. But we won't go down there. What we're going to do now, we'll head down here a bit further down the main street of Cessnock, and we'll catch a bus to Maitland. Now the bus we want through from Cessnock here through to Maitland is the 164, and as I mentioned before, they run every hour, and we're going to catch the 1018 through to Maitland. And of course, like everything else we travel on today, it's all on the Opal Card. On the way through from Morisset through to Cessnock here this morning, probably noticed there was the remnants of the old railway line that ran through here. There's a company called South Maitland Railways which ran a line from Maitland through to Cessnock, and of course it was mainly built to carry coal, but they also ran passenger services on it. In fact, the New South Wales Government Railways, they even ran a passenger service on it, a through service from Sydney through to Cessnock. I think there was a service that went down in the morning and one came back in the afternoon. Anyway, I think that finished very early, maybe in the late 60s, but I remember looking at it in the timetable. But some local people in the Maitland, Cessnock, Kurri area are looking to try to get the government to restore the railway between Maitland and Cessnock, which wouldn't be a bad idea. Anyway, I'll put some links to their Facebook page in the description. Now here's our bus now, 164 to Maitland. There we go. Now, of course, this bus goes through to Maitland via Kurri. Now, I'd like to stop at Kurri and have a look around, but I don't think we've really got time. I'd like to get through to Maitland and have some lunch at Maitland. Coming into Kurri again.
Next stop, please, mate. The button's not working down there. Alright,
Have a good day.
Thank you. Now I'm going to wait for my brother to pick me up.
Now the bus makes a stop here at Maitland Station. Now we're going to stay on the bus and go into Maitland Town and have a look around and walk back. There's no rest for that bus driver, he's going straight back to Cessnock. Well, as you can see, Maitland's a big town and it's got some beautiful old buildings. We'll get around, we'll have a look at a few and we'll have some lunch. Now, just as you leave the bus stop's just there, just here. There's a laneway next to the bus stop and that'll take you down to the Hunter River. As you can see, this is our levee bank being built up to prevent flooding. Maitland used to have some pretty bad floods. Smile. Maitland Town Hall. Well, that looks pretty good. They've got honey chicken served with steamed rice for $12.80. Well, that sounds really good. Well, as soon as we walked into the door, there's a subscriber sitting in here having lunch, and he looked up to me and he says, "Oh, hello, Kerry," and he thoroughly recommends. Well, honey chicken, you can't complain about that. And what are you having, Chris?
Chili chicken.
Very nice. You certainly can't beat that for $12.80. Well, that was excellent. Totally recommend it if you're in Maitland. Anyway, better get moving. There's a few more places I want to visit before we head back to the railway station and catch the train. Well, here in Maitland, they don't muck around when they set up a opportunity shop. They created a department store.
Sorry?
Galton's, it must have been a department store from days gone by. Well, there's lots more to Maitland, but I think we've done it for the day. We're too tired. We're going to head back to the station now and head on back to Gosford. Newcastle Interchange. Is this the one we want? When you're on Maitland Station watching for a train, what else do you do but watch other trains go through? I think this is the Dungog service. Newcastle to Dungog. Bridge over there. It looks like they've just about got it finished. Here we are at Hamilton. We'll change here for a train to Sydney, and I think we're just going to miss one by about 2 minutes because it's sitting in the station over there. Yep.
Strathfield and Central. This train is now
We made it. Well, here we are. We just made our Sydney bound train. Fortunately, they held the train at the station for a few minutes for everybody to get across from the Maitland train. So we were really lucky. They're on board by about 10 seconds to spare. So this train's bound for Sydney.
If you're going to Narara, move to the rear 4 cars. This stop is Gosford. Next doors on the left in the direction of travel.
Well, welcome back to Gosford. Well, this is the end of the day. thanks very much for joining me. And thanks very much for watching. And we'll see you next week. Bye now.